It's me. It's me. It's PLD.
And I'm Richard Eric JARVI.
And I'm MATTY Gunner. And for the glory of Rome, this is Class Action.
The classiest movie show on the interwebs.
All right, that's it. We did it. We can lock down the stream. It's all over. We got the intro done, right? What's up, everybody? This is a return. This is the first time we have done Class Action since, oh, God, I don't even know when now. What was the last time we did it?
I think like a year ago or something. At least a year ago.
Year and a half.
It's like Mad Max versus Mad Max, or was it Lethal Weapon? Or was that the last one we did, potentially? I think. I don't know what it was. Either way, it has been a long, long time coming. JARVI got a life, so he couldn't hang out and play with us anymore.
And a stash.
And a stash. I did notice a stash, but I always
he got the Henry Cavill stash.
Not the hair though.
Not airbrushed on. No CGI there. It's a perfect stash. But JARVI, how are you doing, my friend? We barely get a chance to talk anymore. Every once in a while, you pop in and I'm like, there he is. There's the man, the myth, the legend. How are you?
So I'm doing well. It's been a crazy time because the times that we've talked, we're like, how's everyone doing? It's like crazy busy. Yeah, because that's life. That's how it's been going. But the reason why I couldn't do Class Action weekly like that was still actually have an Estonian movie podcast that goes weekly. And that's actually like an official one. I get paid for it. And it's like super intense. We got movie news. We got reviews. We got movie classics. We got guests on the show. And it's been pretty much 6 days of prep and 1 day of doing it, and then you kind of go back to doing the prep. So right. I was just running on fumes while doing several things at once. But it's a bittersweet thing. The podcast is ending while I'm back here.
All right.
I have to say, I've been seeing JARVI doing like the Q&A, hosting Q&As, doing premieres. Like, you are literally living the life of an international man of mystery. Every time I see you in like a new Instagram story, you're in like some beautiful countryside vineyard or something similar somewhere, and I'm just like, JARVI is just living his greatest life right now, and I could not be prouder of you. I could not be happier for you.
Thank you, dude. I mean, it's social media though, so it's kind of all glossy like that. That's not all I do. It's kind of the least amount of what I do, but it's still cool. Yeah, love it.
It looks good. Just like you. You look good. Not always the greatest.
The flattery is getting uncomfortable.
You look good, Dutch.
Good, Dutch. Actually, MATTY, how are you, my friend? I know we talk all the time with doing Holy Snokes every week, but how are you doing, my friend?
I touch you every week. I'm all right.
All right.
I see you every week. We'll talk about how I am tomorrow. We got a mission here.
That's true. We have a mission today. I just looked it up real quick, guys. May 20th, 2023. May 30th, right? May 30th, 2023 was the last time we did Class Action stream together.
No way.
It was over a year and a half. But we're back. We're not back full time. I don't want to get anybody too excited about it. We are going to be back, but we have made a kind of background decision to do this not just as a one-off, but we can't do it
monthly.
We can't do monthly. Probably try to do it monthly. We'll see if we can do monthly live stream because we can. I'm going to do live streams again. This is my first live stream in a while as well. I did like a few after Class Action, but as you saw on the channel yesterday, I now have memberships for the channel. I also now can do like super chats and stuff, which I had never been able to do before. This is how this channel has grown a little bit. So if you're out there and you're watching, I don't know if you're watching live, if you're not watching live, I kind of just threw this together a little bit last minute as far as like letting people know about it. But if you are watching, you want to throw in a super chat just to let me know if it works, that'd be great. If not, I get it too. Don't worry about it. We will collect all kinds of chat stuff at the end if you want to talk about, leave comments, leave their suggestions, leave their answers to our questions. But we should get into this. What is Class Action? If you've never seen this show before, I mean, it's been away for a while. You might have never seen an episode. Class Action is where you take up two things, either movies, actors, directors, composers, put them up against each other in a battle to the death in a steel cage match, which actually just ends up being a courtroom. And we figure out which one is victorious. But how do we do that? We don't do it with a snap judgment. Instead, we do it with 5 specific categories. Because we look at these things today, we got Gladiator versus Gladiator 2. On the surface, to me, this is an easy decision. Quite frankly, my snap judgment would be that Gladiator is a better movie than Gladiator 2. That's my snap judgment. However, I've made many snap judgments before, and people will say all the time, people say, oh, that's an easy one, blah, 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 blah. But then you put the 5 categories up, and somehow we get the weirdest decisions, and somehow Alien Resurrection gets through the next round. But that's something I've gotten over.
If I'm not mistaken, PLD, there's only been 2 like definitive ass whoopings on this show. That was Jurassic Park trilogy versus Jurassic World.
That's true. That was,
and I can't remember which the other one was.
It was actually something unexpected, I think.
I want to say this over Avatar 2.
Of course you do. Of course you want to say that.
Well, the Abyss came in and Ed Harris came with the steel chair and knocked Avatar 2 out. No, maybe I could be wrong on that, but I do remember something to that effect. But it's very, very likely it's usually going to be a quick decision, like a 10-9 decision, 11-9, whatever it is. But it's going to be an interesting barn burner for this one because I can't wait to put these careers up together. We do have somebody in the chat. Matt Thomas, good to see you, my friend, as always.
What's up?
But let us get into the show. Before we get into the trial, which is our meat and potatoes, we have a couple of things we like to do in here. We play around, of course. And the first thing we're going to do is something I love to do. I think everybody loves to do. Who doesn't love to do it? It is, of course, what would Ed Harris play?
Fuck.
And like typical, JARVI has not prepared.
This is when we
of course I'm prepared. Hold on, just going to IMDb. I am prepared. I'm prepared.
This is what we take the best actor of all time, the greatest character actor of all time, and we put them into the story somehow, whether it be replacing somebody or recasting somebody, or we can sometimes create a new character and insert them into the story somehow that we want to see it. JARVI's been very good at that. I will say JARVI usually wins that even better than I do. So without further ado, my friends, you want to do Gladiator or do you want to do Gladiator 2 first?
Well, let's do Gladiator first. Okay. Let's do the classic one first.
And since JARVI's unprepared, I got to go with JARVI first.
Yeah, fuck. All right, so
where are you putting that hair?
This is going to be great.
I have a good one because this is going to be all right. I'm going to go with that one. I'm not going to go with the obvious route because I think Oliver Reed is kind of the go-to, but I'm going to pivot and go to Marcus Aurelius. I think Ed Harris has to kind of bring it down to a lower level. He can't do angry Ed Harris. Ooh. He's just got to be super authoritarian and just whisper. Let's whisper now. He hasn't whispered in a movie. And I feel like his yelling is as good as his whispering. When he's talking to Maximus, and I mean, he dies, but just think of Commodus choking out Ed Harris makes you even more angrier.
Yeah, that's very true. My God, I want to punch him in the face even more. Replacing one Harris with the other. Okay, I like that.
Oh, idea. Yeah, that's true.
Richard Harris for Ed Harris. That's a good call there, man.
Are they related?
No, they are not. I wish they were. They'd be awesome together. My God. Okay, Marcus Aurelius. That's a good choice there. I did consider that one. Matty, what about you, my friend?
If there is anyone that Ed Harris should play in Gladiator, I'm going with Proxima.
All right. Yeah.
Can you imagine Ed Harris hyping up Russell Crowe, telling him, win the crowd,
like Storm.
Ed Harris is like your hype. Not only granted, Proxima is a slave owner, but like if there's someone that I want hyping me up to go into battle, it's Ed Harris.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And he's always up there in the Colosseum, looking down. He's up there. Everyone else is down there.
They're down there. Back to that. It always goes back to that. Walked into the wrong goddamn Coliseum.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to try to go somebody else. I always try to make it so we have different opinions of everything else. I'm going to go with Senator Gracchus. Derek Jacobi's part. Why? Because A, he lives on to the second movie. And B, I can even have it in both movies that way. Although they did pick a different one for Gladiator too. But I kind of like that as a more, like you were talking about the whispering part. I kind of like the similar reasons. It's kind of more of a lower key part. He's a man of honor. We know this.
Mhm.
We know Grackles is a man. Ed Harris plays the man of honor really well. And he can be the one who opposes Commodus. He's the ally of Maximus. Very low key kind of person, but he's going to do the right thing no matter what. And no one does the right thing better than Mr. Ed Harris.
These are all great picks. Do you know what I just realized? That Ed Harris would actually be perfect for the most obvious of all, a young Ed Harris as Maximus. I mean, that is just because Russell Crowe has that, the famous speech where he does, "My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius." Like, he looks calm, but if you look at his acting, he's trying to like hold back all the anger that he has inside him. Think of Ed Harris doing that.
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
Let me tell you something, my friend. I mean, Russell Crowe won the Academy Award beating out Ed Harris for Pollock, so it'd be only righteous that Ed Harris. He did. So Ed Harris actually should replace Russell Crowe, because that would only be just his third righteousness as it is. But I do love that idea too. I kind of did consider that for a second. I was like, do I really want to? I mean, Russell is great in the role, but you put Ed Harris in that role, I'm excited about you to that. So, all right. We got Gladiator done. Let's move on to Gladiator 2. What will we recast him in Gladiator 2? I'm going to go with you, Jarvi, first again.
Please don't. Just let me.
No.
Let me live. Breath. Let me live. I've got one if you want me to go.
Yeah, all right. Let Matty go.
Let Matty go.
I'm going to create a role for Ed Harris in this one.
Okay.
I would want Ed Harris to be the one to tell Lucius the story of his father. So I would cast Ed Harris as like a grizzled old gladiator that made it out, that was there, witnessed the legend of Maximus take place firsthand, and he just pulls Lucius to one side and just says, "Look, I saw your father in the Colosseum. I knew his legacy," and like he's the one that takes Lucius down into the cave and shows him the suit of armor and the sword.
Oh, I like that.
So it's like Ravi. Ravi was kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar to Ravi in a way. Yeah, absolutely. I get that. I like that. Good call. Jarvis, did you get one now, or do you want me to go? All right,
You go.
I'm going to do it. Yes, it's a little bit of a whitewash. I'm sorry. I got to do it. I got to do Pedro Pascal. I got to do General. Come on. Ed Harris in that role, the older grizzled general who has to like come back and like become the guy who fights Pascal, fights Lucius. I mean, the honorable general who can be the top. You saw my joke earlier. He could be standing at the top of the Colosseum looking down on Lucius. He could be up there. Lucius would be down there. The only problem is Ed Harris would lose to Lucius. So I guess that's probably why he didn't get cast in the role, because he is so strong and so powerful that he rips his head off. So it is what it is. But if anybody could die gloriously and full of honor, it is Ed Harris.
He was looking down on Lucius's wife at one point.
That's true. That is very true. He would definitely do that.
And he has that awesome moment when he's coming in on the siege tower or something, just coming again from an elevated position. I mean, it works.
It does work. Absolutely.
Ed Harris just constantly has the high ground.
Yeah, exactly. We shouldn't underestimate his power.
Ed Harris, but he is Obi-Wan. Ed Harris is Obi-Wan. I can see it. All right, Jarvi, it's up to you now, whether you're ready or not.
Yep, I'm going to go with a smaller role, but I feel like Ed Harris would be kind of perfect for it. It's the Vigo part. And that's the guy who was Macrinus's, the gladiator sort of trainer. The tough-looking guy, the bald guy with like a beard. He was younger than Ed Harris, but I feel like that role it's kind of similar to Matty's because he's like a grizzled ex-gladiator. And he's, teaching young Lucius a lesson there. And, but I feel like, actually, I think they did Vigo kind of wrong in the movie because he actually wasn't a bad guy. But Lucius pretty much just killed him cold-bloodedly. Like, he was, he just wanted him to get better. He was a trainer. I feel like Ed Harris would bring more of that likability to that role.
You know what? That is the role that was my other choice. I was going to go that role.
Oh, yeah?
For the same reason. But because of what you just said, the way they kind of did it, I didn't want to put him in that role just to off about it, but I would have made him more heroic. More like he would have turned on him or something or gone away somehow. I don't know. Something would have been cool about that for sure. Well, that's a good choice. It is a very good choice. All three of them are very good choices. Matt Thomas saying the slave owner who loses everything gambling with Denzel. That's an interesting choice.
Oh yeah, well that's the shit weasel, right?
Shit weasel character. Ed doesn't play shit weasels too often, but he can do it. He can do it. So that'd be an interesting choice. For
Obviously, you say that. He can do anything. Exactly.
I actually thought about casting as Lucilla, but that'd be a different story entirely.
He could do it.
You could absolutely get away with it. So. All right, let's move on to our next segment then here in Class Action. Ed Harris is down. We got him done. Let's look on to the public defender, which I'm going to be honest with you. Here's a little hint from behind the scenes. We went live about 5 minutes before we started talking about it, going, what is public defender? I don't remember what that is. Jarvi, tell us what it is.
All right, the public defender. Now, that's a segment where we kind of like to put ourselves on the spot. It's unprepared. So Matty's going to give me and PLD like a top 3 list or a top 5 list, some topic that we don't know what it's about. Now, why do we call it the public defender? It's because usually these characters in movies are depicted as, these overworked, underpaid, tired. They come into court. They don't really know what they're doing. No one wants them as their defender. So pretty much they're not prepared for what's about to happen. And this is what's going to happen to us now by Matty.
Actually, it's kind of like this entire live stream. We're not entirely prepared for what's happening because we realize that we have no idea what we're doing. Just like we never just know what we're doing. So it's okay. But I want to throw it out there again since we have more people in the chat now. Good to see you. Alan Smithy, of course. Memberships are live now. I think I can do super chats now. So if anyone wants to throw a super chat in just to make sure, see if it works, I'm excited for it. But other than that, no begging for money. I'm just kind of curious if it works. But anyway, Matty, go ahead with public defender. Let me know what you think.
It was funny. Quick side tangent. When I saw that video that you put up about the memberships, I thought about putting a post out saying that if we reach 100 members by the time of the live stream, we would do this stream all in togas. I thought that would be a bit too much. Okay.
Could have done it.
Could have done it. So for you gentlemen, because we are so unprepared, I'm just going to give you a top 3.
Okay.
Starting with Jarvi. Top 3 period pieces in movies.
So period movies. Oh, okay. Just so I can clarify.
Sorry, just top 3 period movies altogether. It can be anything.
Anything.
Like it doesn't matter what period. It could be like World War II.
Doesn't matter what period.
Okay.
Anything. Okay. Anything before 90s modern day. So I'm talking like
ancient times, like Sword and Sandal kind of movies.
Yeah.
Boy. Okay.
Oh, that's tougher because all of my choices are from 2000 and forward.
No.
I mean the period in the movie.
Oh, right. Sorry. Okay, got it. I think you just got your first super chat.
I did. Thank you, Matt Thomas. I appreciate it. It did work. I appreciate that. Awesome. It worked. Sweet. Thank you.
All right. I'm not going to pick because Gladiator would be my go-to pick. I'm not going to do that one. The Last Samurai.
Oh, very good choice. Very good choice.
That would have been my pick.
All right. I'm going to pick an unpopular one, but I think it's really good. Kingdom of Heaven. That was the one that followed Gladiator, and the director's cut, really friggin' good. All right, third one, I'm kind of... Damn it. I want to say a good one. All right.
For a specific one that I know you know.
Knight's Tale.
I mean, it wasn't the one I was thinking.
It wasn't?
It.
Oh, dude, I was so sure that was the one you were fishing for.
Hey, man, I'll take it. The greatest movie ever made. I'll take that one. Okay, POD.
Okay. Oh, man. All right. I'm going to go with The Patriot.
That's the one I was looking for.
Fucking hell, of course.
Gibson. Damn him, man. Damn that man.
Crazy Gibson.
Crazy Gibson. I could go with other Gibson Braveheart as well, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave Braveheart alone for now.
Don't double down on the Gibson.
I don't want to double down. One Gibson's enough at this point. Copying Beethoven.
Ooh.
Ed Harris as Beethoven. Can't go wrong there.
What? That happened?
That one.
It did. It was not well received.
Shocker.
Ed is
Ed
great.
Harris played Beethoven?
He did. He absolutely did.
Did he have to learn the Moonlit Sonata for it?
He actually, if honestly speaking, and some people don't like the movie, and it's fine. It's a little cheesy, kind of borders on cheesy at times. But if you ever Google the scene where he conducts, It's just Ed Harris conducting the orchestra towards the end of the movie. He is all in, my friend. I mean, some people might say it's a soloist type thing because of the movie surrounding it, but I love him in this, and I actually think he did a damn good job. So I'm going to put copying Beethoven on your radar just for that sequence in and of itself alone. And for my last one, I'm going to go with my old-time classic. I guess this counts theoretically, but Clash of the Titans, the old school Clash of the Titans.
Not the Sam Worthington one.
Not the Sam. No, Sam Worthington. He of Avatar fame, the white man.
Don't you dare.
The Shaq infamy, the faith-based thriller movie that I wasted 2 hours of my life watching.
The original Clash of Titans from 1981. Harry Hamlin. Loved that movie growing up. It was a kid favorite of mine as a child, like a childhood favorite. Watched it every time I could. The stop motion battle sequences, the Medusa head. I love Greek mythology, so that definitely fits in for me as well. So Clash of Titans for me, my big one.
Damn it, Troy would have been a good one.
I was just about to say that was one that I was thinking. I was expecting you guys to go with. Was Troy.
Matt, it's up to you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Troy.
Okay, fair. You've had the most time to think about it, man.
You're the only one who's supposed to be prepared.
Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers, okay.
War films are technically period pieces at this point.
That's a mini-series, though. I don't know if you count it. That's a
mini-series.
It's a movie show.
Wasn't there a movie of Band of Brothers?
There's a Saving Private Ryan.
Okay, give me Saving Private Ryan then. I'll take Saving Private Ryan.
Okay, that's fair.
Troy, Saving Private Ryan, and Pompeii.
Pompeii.
That's a good one too.
That's the Kit Harington one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
It wasn't a great movie, but still a period piece.
That's true.
I'm going to change one of my answers. I'm going to change
to Pompeii 2.
To Pompeii 2. Electric Boogaloo.
The lava comes again.
I'm going to take out copying Beethoven. I'm going to replace it with another Ed Harris period piece. Enemy at the Gates. Ed Harris and Jude Law, the sniper, World War II sniper action going on.
Okay, yeah.
That is actually really, really good. That's one of Ed Harris's best villain roles, and he has a lot of villain roles.
If we're taking them out, I'm going to take out Pompeii, and I'm going to put in TC Legends period piece, Far and Away, where he plays the Irishman that moves to the States.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting choice. I would not think that of you, to be honest with you.
It's not my favorite TC Legend movie, but I figured we have to have a TC Legend mention.
Well, we already had one. JARVI had Last Samurai.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That
was our first one.
The best TC Legend mention.
Sake!
Can I mention as a honorable mention? I'm going to throw in there Back to the Future Part 3.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. I like Alan Smithy in the chat. His one, Amadeus.
Yeah. Actually, I mentioned that. I saw that as well. I love that movie. That's a great film. In the 80s, I watched that one quite a bit. So good one for sure.
I completely forgot that I was supposed to do a Public Defender as well. By the way, I thought I was the one that just could you two battle it out. So I was like, oh shit!
You thought you were off the hook.
You're like the true Public Defender.
I am
giving out the case to other Public Defenders, and you guys switching out your answers like Public Defenders when they're flopping their cases. Exactly. So we're staying on brand.
All right, enough of this. Let's move on to the trial. The judges called. The judges walked in the chamber. Jumpers walked to the chamber. He's sitting down. He's going to hear our arguments now for the 5 categories that we have. And I got to write my little notebook here, so I can't miscount. JARVI's not running the show. I can't miscount. I can't mistabulate the.
I almost did that the other day.
Wait, I've always done my math right.
Right. I think I have. I had to actually post a retraction after one of the episodes.
I don't remember. I cannot recall, so it did not happen.
Michael Flanagan.
I think that was exactly the one. Absolutely. JARVI not being able to recall, he's got that politician speak down already. Let's listen to the 5 categories we have. 1, better story. 2, better hero. 3, better villain. 4, better music. And 5, better action / fist bump moments. And if you know the Action Army, we are generations from the Action Army. We are the Action Army. Fist bump basically means it's those moments where you go, yes, you can't wait to see what's happening. You got to call your friend up. JARVI, Put it on Gladiator 2, an hour 33 in it. I don't care. I don't care to your grandmother's funeral. Go watch it now. And that's what a fist bump is.
That has happened, by the way. I think I had to go to the bathroom at some event that you texted me. You got to watch this scene.
I was going to say, did POD call you at a funeral to tell you to look at?
It wasn't a funeral, but it was like a dinner party or something.
JARVI did hit me at a wedding once. He did hit me up at a wedding.
Did I? Okay.
And I absolutely went to the bathroom to watch the scene, just so you know, because that's a sacred bond.
As you should.
Action Army, as it is. So. All right. First up, then we got Best Story. JARVI, we're going to lead off with you since you wanted to bring this back. You've named this. You named the categories. You named the films. This is on you, my friend.
All right. Better stories. So we're talking scripts. We're talking character arcs. I mean, Gladiator 1, we got the story of Maximus and how he pretty much like got shoved aside by politics. His family got killed. He became a gladiator and a savior of Rome eventually. Classic story with a strong narrative, great subplots that culminated in kind of an epic climax. Gladiator 2, we got the story of Hanno, a boy who pretty much got conquered in his home city, not home city, in the city that he was living in. His wife got killed. He became a gladiator, rose through the ranks. You kind of see the beats of what I'm talking about. This is kind of a copy paste of the first movie. I mean, they did give us some nuances, but I think as great a job as Ridley Scott did, he's still playing the greatest hits of Gladiator 1. I mean, we've heard these crazy stories of the pitch ideas that Gladiator 2 almost got, like he almost came back from the dead or something and the gods resurrected him. I mean, it would have been crazy, but it would have been more original. I think one of my biggest problems with Gladiator 2 was that the story was a bit of the same thing. It wasn't so much a sequel as it was like a rebookle or whatever you call it.
Reboot quill.
Reboot quill.
No, I actually agree with you 100%. So you're going to go with Gladiator, the original.
Yeah, that's Gladiator 2000.
2000. I actually agree with you. I think, like, I remember hearing those wild stories, like Russell Crowe is coming back. I think actually Russell Crowe probably looked at Russell Crowe, and this is no offense because I am a fat man myself at times. Like, he's a little bit not quite in Gladiator shape. I don't think they can look at him and go, "Oh, he could do his Gladiator role again." You have to do a lot of working out to get back into that kind of shape. So I think they went, "No, we're gonna."
He did
Zeus.
Zeus.
That part of the category. Yeah,
he was wearing the armor in Zeus.
It was definitely a couple of sizes bigger than his.
They could have done some airbrushing, put his face on like a stunt double or something. They could have done something.
I would have preferred. I think I actually would have preferred overall the wild swing that would have been that storyline because that's a totally different episode. Because you're right, it is definitely much more of a cut and paste effort. Some of the beats are similar, some of the characters are similar, some of the storylines seem similar. It just can't get out of the way of itself, unfortunately. And unfortunately, to me, like I said before, I'm going to say it again. Like I said, my initial snap judgment of Gladiator wins this overall because Gladiator 2's biggest fault is that it feels like it keeps reminding me of the better movie. So, like, it's like, oh, that movie. We're getting flashbacks of Russell Crowe's character.
And it does that. It shows scenes from the first movie in the intro.
Right. And it's like, oh, that's the you keep showing me the better movie. That's okay. And not that Gladiator 2 is bad, but it definitely feels like it's a copy paste of itself. So I got to go with Gladiator as well. Matty, it's up to you.
I think I'll take this opportunity to speak up for Gladiator 2. Okay. I think I don't want to say that it was intentional, repeating a lot of the story beats, but I feel like there is some kind of mirroring and synchronicity with the story of Gladiator and the story of Rome, of like the dream of Rome. It's kind of repeating itself. It's going around in a cycle, and we're seeing this mirrored story because Rome keeps making the politicians and everything. They keep making the same mistake. Marcus Aurelius's dream isn't coming to fruition because they just keep making these same mistakes. They keep throwing these wild games and these parties, spending all this money, putting the people of Rome into further deeper and deeper poverty. I don't know if it was like an intentional choice on Ridley Scott's part to mirror the two and kind of show that through Rome. But that was me starting with love. Let's take the story down to the core points here. A rich kid gets sent away to live on a remote island because his mom is so afraid that he would get corrupted by the politicians. And when he has the chance to avenge his wife's death, the same thing happens. Like Maximus' wife dies, Lucius' wife dies. When he has the chance to avenge his wife's death, he doesn't do it because the guy is banging his mom. I'm sorry, but like, you want to honor Maximus, you put his sword through that bastard's skull solely because he is banging your mom. Like, not it's just, here's the thing. Like, not only does that happen, and I'm sorry, I really, really like Gladiator 2, but this really got caught in my craw of like, not only did he not kill the guy that he's put himself through hell to try and get to because he killed his wife. Like,
right.
He turns to the crowd and says, "Is this how Rome treats its heroes?" When did this guy become a hero? Like, he was pillaging on behalf of these sicko emperors. He killed your wife. He's, what I said about his mom, that's what he's doing. And then you just suddenly turn around and say, "Is this how Rome treats its heroes?" Because you feel bad. Like, Maximus would have gone through hell and back to put his sword through that bastard's skull.
Okay.
Like the gurgle, he would have done that. Like with Commodus.
Exactly. Like, that mom that you are fighting to defend, she sent you away as a child. She didn't do anything for you. Your wife went to war with you. She stood by your side through battle. She died for you.
She was pregnant.
She was
right.
There you go.
There's your boy. There you go. Your kid.
He should have just done Pedro Pascal like in Game of Thrones, just crushed his skull.
Oh, yeah.
With the Viper. Yeah. So he'd have to wear a mask like Din Djarin for the rest of his life if he could live through all the Pedro Pascal characters now as he goes through. Maybe he'd stretch out like Reed Richards. No, I get it. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right in that. I get that aspect of it for sure. But you're going to go to bat for Gladiator 2, but are you giving it the win?
I'm going to bat for Gladiator 2, but I'm giving it to Gladiator.
That's what I thought.
Because I think even the nuances that Gladiator 2 did, like Acacius, Pedro Pascal, is kind of Maximus and Lucius. Like, if you put Pedro Pascal and Paul Mescal together, you get Maximus. That's the same character, just split into two.
Right.
With Denzel, you got the two emperors, and Denzel put them together, pretty much got the villain.
We'll talk more about it when we get to villains.
We'll talk about that.
But
that's a very interesting take I didn't think of.
I understand what you're going with on that. And it is. It's saying basically, it's like when Queen had the Freddie Mercury tribute concert and they had Elton John and Axl Rose sing Bohemian Rhapsody, because you had Freddie at his glitziest and Freddie at his most dangerous. It took two of them to do it. Whereas in the original, he only needed one Freddie Mercury. He only needed one Maximus. But okay, I get that. All right, let's move on. Move on there. Let's move on to our next category here. Better hero. I'll start this one off. This is a very easy one for me. Lucius can't lick Maximus's boots. I'm sorry. It's not even close. Like, Paul Mescal is a fine actor. He is given nothing here. He is the entire film. The film tells us he's not as good as Maximus. He's looking up to Maximus. Maximus is this god, and he's this like lower. And it's like, yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me that I'm missing Russell Crowe. You're showing me Russell Crowe as Maximus doing all those things. And I'm like, that's the guy I'm looking for. This Paul Mescal reminds me of, in this role, and I hate saying this because he's actually a good actor in other things. He's been a good actor. And this, he reminds me of the people I kind of crusade against, the Sam Worthingtons, the Jai Courtneys, those kind of like any old white man you could throw in that role. They kind of like indivisible, plug and play kind of people that like don't really stand out to me. He did not stand out in any way, shape, or form.
That's harsh. Ooh. You're not wrong, though.
I like, the thing is, I actually like him. That's why I'm not going to say this is a career killer, because I've seen him in other things, and he has been good. He was great in The Lost Daughter. He was good in Foe. He was good in. He's been in some things that he has shown his worth in. After Sun. This just isn't it, unfortunately, and it's because of the story. I think. I don't think this is his fault. but he is just lost. Because I get also what you said about we put him up against Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal oozes charisma. So here you are, you're putting him in there, and he gets overshadowed by him. It's like, and when he doesn't kill him, it's like even worse. Like he's the character you kind of respect. Like, okay, Pedro Pascal's character, I kind of respect that. This guy gets it being a whiny bitch half the time, to be honest with you. So I don't know about, but to me, or you guys, but to me, this is a clear cut. I don't know if I've ever had a more clear cut victory in the category than this one for me. JARVI, I'll let you tee it up from there.
Yeah, I'm echoing what you said. It's if you think about like Lucius's speech in the arena, like Maximus had awesome speeches every time he like riled his guys up. What Lucius said was, "This is about survival. Survive." And they went to war. It was like, I was watching it with my girlfriend. She was like, "Was that the fucking speech?" What?
Not wrong.
Like I love Paul Mescal as well, and I'm kind of afraid to say it, but I have to. He was miscast in this. He really was miscast in this. He tries to do, he tries to differentiate from Russell Crowe, from Maximus, and he has that softer side to him. He's sort of more emotional. Has that kind of like a teddy bear feel to him, as Russell Crowe was more like he's gonna explode with anger. Although in the trailer they kept saying your rage is your best weapon, but he kind of felt more like a teddy bear. You kind of see the kindness in his eyes. So yeah, I think Lucius / Hanno, whatever you want to call him, he was cool, and he was built like a brick wall as well. He kind of worked his physique for it. But you can't go against Maximus, and Maximus has the best speech in cinema history, I think, with the Maximus Decimus Meridius one. The delivery, the way he says it, the turn, the look, I mean, everything. Although I do think that Paul Mescal, at this point, actually, you can't say that. No, Russell Crowe had awesome roles. Because I want to kind of say that Mescal has the potential to go further than Crowe. At the moment, you can't say it. And Crowe even had LA Confidential. He had a Beautiful Mind during that time. So yeah, no, Crowe is still ahead.
He even got to the Nice Guys at some point. Come on, you know that.
Yeah, but that's later though. I mean, like at this point of their careers, they kind of were in the same. But I still feel like Crowe takes it, and that is the better villain. Better hero. Yeah, Maximus.
Right. Two things I got to respond before I give it to Matty here. I love your accent, Charvy. I thought you said titty bar. You said a titty
That's
bear.
That's what I thought you said.
Teddy bear? You said teddy bear? And I thought you said titty bear? I'm like,
I thought you said titty bar. I was like, where were there titty bars in Rome?
Titty bar? Gladiator? All right.
No, there was lots of titties in that movie, though. There was, right?
There was. Yeah, sure was. As far as best speech goes, I don't know. Maybe
does sound like me.
Mandy Patinkin in Princess Bride. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. I'm prepared to die. Might have a little bit of an edge, maybe. I don't know what to say.
My name's Gladiator.
Maddie, I'll give it over to you.
I really, 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 really want to speak up for Paul Mescal in this one, but I think that's the whole point, right? I think if they'd have spent more time showing how Lucius is not like Maximus, as opposed to showing that he is trying to become Maximus. Like the moment where his mom comes to like meet him for the first time, and instead of like pushing her away, he can like, look, what do I do? Like, what can I do to get back to my grandfather's legacy, my grandfather's dream? I think if they'd have spent more time showing his differences, because they even showed the scene from the first one where he meets Maximus at the cage. Right. It's like you're trying to build this lead into a lead from another movie. I think if they'd have done more of showing how he's not like Maximus, and Acacius fit the role of Maximus, as opposed to just hitting us over the head with, look how great Russell Crowe was as Maximus. We know. We've seen the movie. We saw Russell Crowe get the Oscar for it. But Maximus is a top 5 hero of all time. Let's just get out of the way. It's like he doesn't want to kill those people, even though he's like one of the most incredible generals of all time. He loves the man who raised him, and he just wants to serve him until it's time for him to go home to his wife and kid. And then all that gets taken away from him. And you have arguably the greatest revenge movie ever made, even like over John Wick and everything else. He's a man of principle. I mean, you got to only look at how he was with Juba, like two men from completely different worlds. But he fights to protect him. He fights to protect the other gladiators that serve with him. And he wins the crowd over. The crowd knows who he is. They don't give two shits who Lucius is. They don't know him. They don't even know that he's his daddy's son, that he's a Nepo baby until the very end of the movie. Because that's essentially what he is, because the crowd loves Maximus.
Right.
They didn't know who Lucius was, nor did they care. But it comes back to the scene that we're going to talk about when we get to the fist pump moments. But the look in Commodus's eyes when he didn't even want to take the helmet off. Commodus made him take his helmet off, and he was just like, all right, I guess the jig's up. I guess we're doing this. Right. The look of fear in Commodus's eyes when he knows he's fucked, but he just doesn't know how fucked he is. Macrinus didn't have a moment like that. He didn't fear Lucius. Neither did the emperors. None of them did. He didn't have. And again, it goes back to my point of they didn't do a lot of building up Lucius to be Lucius. They built him up to be this essentially wannabe Nepo baby version of his dad. Like, he didn't have that strike the fear into the heart of his enemy moment.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right there. I just want to say hi real quick. Kelly W in chat. Wow. JARVI.
What's up, Kelly?
Well, it's good to see. No, Matt, you're absolutely right. And I actually think you bring up a great point there, especially about the idea that perhaps they should have killed off Pedro Pascal and they actually could have had them together. Because it is hard to match up to Maximus. So why not give you both characters to be the ones to kind of turn the tide? That would make sense to me. That would actually work better. Admit your defeat a little bit, because you're already going into retread territory as it is. It'll give you something maybe a little different that could have worked out that way. So good choice. That would have been a good, interesting choice to see for sure. But
what if they'd had Acacius beat Lucius, but show Lucius the mercy?
Yeah.
That's how it should have been. Yeah, they did Acacius dirty. Like I was expecting him to be my favorite character in the movie. They got rid of him too soon.
Yeah, absolutely agree. All right, let's move on then to the next category. I hate to say it, Gladiator too, but you better pick up some slack because you're getting trounced here. Better villain. Maybe that's the role that can do it for you. Better villain. And you know what? I'm going to go right off and say it. Rip the Band-Aid off. I'm giving this one to Gladiator 2. I actually give this one to Gladiator 2. I love Denzel.
Oh, he's not a villain, though.
Much. Oh, he is the antagonist.
He's the shit weasel.
He is a shit weasel villain. He's still a villain, though. He's got.
Yeah, all right. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Who's Mescal got to beat to end the game? He's got.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Denzel is. If you put Denzel in any movie, and what's great about it doesn't matter what he's saying, what his accent is. I don't care if it's ancient Rome. I'm talking like I'm talking. I'm fucking Denzel Washington. And he becomes an intriguing character right from the get-go. Former slave. You can see him working in the system. He's manipulating the system behind the scenes, a little bit like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones in a way. He's like, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's a low common man kind of thing. You can see the actual co-emperors, which were actually very well played. Those are real shit weasel type people themselves too, like because they don't really have any power per se. I mean, they have power, but like it's so like they can be manipulated so easily by Denzel. They're just like he's playing them like a fiddle. But Joseph Quinn specifically is really so they had the look down, which is really cool. They had this like kind of like almost like I want to say it was almost like a wasted wave kind of look. Like even though they're supposed to be like this, like usually the emperors are big, larger. You know, they get the spoils of victory. They get they're gluttons and stuff like that. This guy, they're very thin built characters. But Denzel just plays them like fiddles, and Denzel is masterful in everything else. He has some of the greatest lines of dialogue. And then when he does have to take up arms at the end, he does. That's what makes him not a shit weasel, because he does take up arms at the end. He takes up his arms, he starts fighting him back, and like he does it pretty well. Yeah, he loses. He loses. Mm-hmm. He's an older gladiator. He's an older fighter. He's not exactly what he used to. He's not been trained in the pits for a long time. Mescal's just coming out of the pits, but he knows what he's doing. He's a good fighter overall. I think that Denzel is better than Commodus. Is a great villain, and this is where I will understand your shocked look, Charlie, because I do want to punch him in the face a lot, which makes him a great villain. And I do like that he gets his comeuppance by Russell Crowe at the end. That makes a great villain as well. But at the end of the day, there's a little bit of a whiny bitch compared to Denzel. Denzel just seems more powerful. Like that's more of a villain I want to see more of. I don't want to see the my daddy didn't love me. My daddy didn't love me. Oh, and that's why that doesn't win for me. I just I can't. I like Ed Harris villain character, like the Brigadier General, Prince X Hummel, tough, honorable villains. He's not even a villain, really. We know this, but that's another story. Give me that villain over the my daddy didn't love me. So for me, this is Gladiator 2's first win. JARVI, hit me up.
Yeah. Okay. This hurts me to hear you say that, but I do agree. I do agree that Denzel and Joseph Quinn and Fred Hershinger, like the trio together, they make a strong group. But this is still a easy walkover for Commodus. I mean, you said that he's like whiny. His dad didn't love him. Yes, he has those weaselly, cowardly aspects to him. But he says it himself. He has courage, not on the battlefield, but he does kill his father. I'm not saying it's a good thing to do, but he's ambitious. He gets to the seat of power. He rules. I mean, he does incest, which is fucking crazy, but that makes him even more evil and more vile. And he scares me as a person. Like, if I would face Commodus on the street versus Denzel, Joseph Quinn, or Fred Hershinger, I mean, I would fear Commodus. He is unpredictable. He fights well as well. You see that where he's just topless, going like fighting in the forest. So that power hungriness, that evilness, that ambition, that makes it a very potent mix. And yes, I do agree that Denzel gives one of his best performances. I mean, he's very Denzel, but he does it in the most, I mean, in the best way possible. Still, those three don't hold it up to Joaquin Phoenix, because that is one of the best performances of a villain ever.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Put Denzel's character up against Commodus. In a situation, who comes victorious in general?
That's a good question. I think if they're at the same age, I think Denzel, because he's a gladiator. I still think that Denzel would be able to beat him in a straight fight. But I think Commodus, he's got his poisons. He's got his little hooks. He's got someone helping. He fights dirty, as does Denzel. But I feel like Commodus has more tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, I think that Denzel can match Commodus's behind-the-scenes shit, but Commodus has no chance of beating him physically. So to me, Denzel makes a better villain. And then you add on the wickedness of the two emperors. Even the one that's kind of inspired a little bit by the Joker with the monkey. You put the monkey in there as well. The monkey can kick Commodus' ass for Christ's sake. But okay. Matty,
oh, wow.
Matty, go ahead.
This is tougher than I thought it would be. When I first came into this, I was like, oh, Denzel's won this hands down. But you got to think, you're putting Commodus up against Macrinus. Joaquin versus Denzel. They're like two very different style of villains. You have the Littlefinger playing politics style of Macrinus, whereas Commodus is he's just a psycho. He's messed up in the head. Like, tried to bang his sister because she's the only one that's ever showed him any affection. He's essentially an incel. Killed his own father because he wanted to rule over Rome. He had no idea that Maximus was going to say no. I think if he'd have known that Maximus was going to turn the job down, none of this would have happened. So he's crazy. He's unhinged. He's completely off the rails. Macrinus, I actually felt was more like Proximo, in that Proximo told Maximus
for sure
to win the crowd over, and Macrinus was telling Lucius to use his rage, to channel his rage. You see this, he's somewhat relatable, and like, you want to, at the start, you want to see him win. When they have that first initial party and he brings in Lucius and Lucius kills the other guy, and then Macrinus wins all the money, you're just like, oh, hell yeah. Like, Macrinus got one over. Perfect. And then the movie starts to unravel, the plot starts to unravel, and then you get the moment at the end when he walks into the Senate chamber holding the head of one of the emperors and just puts it down on the plinth and is just like, anyone got any questions? No? Cool. I'm the one in power now. And the problem is, I don't think anyone actually feared Commodus because they knew he could be controlled. He was crazy. He would definitely, okay, I think they feared like being in the same room as him, but I think they knew that he was a puppet that could be controlled.
I have to argue with that one.
Okay.
Because you could play these two emperors very easily. Macrinus does that. They are the ones who can be manipulated and swayed. Commodus did his own thing, like many senators tried. Gracchus tried. I think other senators as well. You couldn't sway Commodus. He had his own vision. And I don't think anyone swayed him, though. In the movie, though, no one kind of...
Macrinus could.
Who's the shit Weasley senator that let loose that Lucilla was like conspiring behind Commodus's back?
Which she was.
He was, but again, they were starting to play him like a fiddle for their own ends, which showed that Commodus could be played somewhat. I think each villain is, if you look at both of the Emperors, if you look at Commodus, that's Rome starting to come into a decline. I think they're very much a mirror of how Rome is at the time. You have Commodus, Rome is starting to be in decline, much like his. And then you have the twin emperors, and it's all gone. Or like all hope is lost. They're weak, they're pathetic. They even, like Paul even mentioned how they look. Like it just doesn't look the same. But Macrinus is more of a puppet master. I think I got to agree with Paul in this one. I think I got to go Macrinus. I think Gladiator 2 takes this one for me.
Good. You have chosen wisely, my friend. You have chosen wisely. No, I mean, I get what you're saying, Jarvi. I do, but I think at the end of the day, if I put up the two villains against each other, he's loose, he's unhinged, he's loose, unhinged, but so is the Joseph Quinn and Fred Usher. They're kind of unhinged a little bit too.
They're just copying Commodus. They're pretty much just Commodus, not even 2.0, just trying to kind of do it in a different way.
And Macrinus took care of them. Is what I'm trying to say. Like they say,
and that makes those two emperors weak villains.
Which is why Macrinus would have taken him, though. That's what I'm saying. So you're saying those. So they're copying Commodus, and they're weak. So Commodus is still kind of overall weak compared to that, like compared to Macrinus, who could have overtaken them. Because Macrinus could have overshadowed him, just like he overshadowed the two other ones. Is what I'm saying.
I think Commodus would have had spies spying on Macrinus, and he would have got one over him. I think he would have been all up to par what he's up to.
Commodus' big move is I'm killing my daddy. That's anymore. Okay, all right. I mean, look, I get Commodus is a good villain as far as that goes. He definitely Joaquin Phoenix does a great job. At the end of the day, I'll take Denzel. So, all right, let's move on then to our next category. Then, what do we got here? Better music, better score. Okay, I'll start with this one. This was a tough one for me. I got to be honest. I only got to see Gladiator 2 once. I did try to binge the music afterwards. And it seemed like the best parts of the Gladiator 2 soundtrack were moments that were kind of from Gladiator 1, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Although, that being said, as much as I love Hans Zimmer, this was a period of Hans Zimmer's life where Hans Zimmer loved Hans Zimmer also. And it's basically like, I'm going to take every score I've ever, La Rock, Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm going to everything I can do. I'm just going to throw it in there and make it basically, it sounds like the same thing over and over again. Williams has done that a couple times with the quotes and stuff, but not the same degree. Hans really feels like he's plagiarizing himself a few times. But the good news is he's plagiarizing good stuff, and it is his stuff he's plagiarizing. So yeah, that 6.5. What is the other? I mean, like, is it very unique? No, it's not. But it is good. It is good. He does a good job of that adventurous feel, that kind of like warrior feel, that kind of like it gets you going and want you on the edge of your seat. You're fist pumping already. I mean, that's a fist pump for sure when you start hearing that music going, honor and strength. You're, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So I gotta say I gotta go with Gladiator 1 overall, because Gladiator 2 is good, but Gladiator 1 seems to be more original and based. Char, what do you think?
Yeah, my decision is easy in this one, so I'm gonna like. I think Hans Zimmer Gladiator soundtrack is the best soundtrack that's ever been made, and I know I'm subjective on this one, but it is up there with the best. I think Zimmer's music, what a score needs to do is elevate the movie. I mean, Zimmer's music elevated Gladiator like Howard Shore did it for Lord of the Rings. The movie wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for that score, and I truly believe that. I mean, every moment, like calm or epic, is heightened by these great themes. I mean, there's these quiet, calm flutes where you kind of get like when the movie starts and where they're in Germania, and it's like sort of ominous. They kind of lead you in, and when they are having the barbarian horde fight on the Colosseum, I mean, it goes really hard. It pumps you up. It pretty much, you take the music out, the fight is not half as epic as it is. And then you got Now You Are Free, which plays at the very end when Maximus is dying. I mean, that song, I mean, theme, the way they send off Maximus, it carries like so much weight, sadness, but also hope in it. And that song is actually the song that we used when we did the funeral for my father. It was so that song is like, that was his favorite movie, his favorite theme. I mean, and it works. Come on, it's such a perfect send-off type of music.
Yeah.
But I do agree. Harry Gregson Williams, I think he did try his best, and he's kind of a Hans Zimmer protege in a way. He uses, you said the exact same thing that I wanted to. He uses the Maximus theme. When Lucius pretty much becomes Maximus, he's got the new thing, and it goes into the familiar theme that we know. And that is, I think, the best moment in that soundtrack, just like you said. But that kind of says that shouldn't be the best part. He should do some of his own things. Like if we talk about John Williams now and the Disney Star Wars movies, like he uses the old and he brings in so much new. I think the music is the best part of the Disney Star Wars films. He still manages to capture the essence of Star Wars, but still brings new themes. Whereas Harry Gregson Williams, pretty much epic music, themes of the old one, epic music, and there's not much of a character there.
Right.
This is an easy one for Gladiator 2000.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was trying to make there. I mean, it's not like it's bad music. It's good music. It's just, honestly, it's kind of like my entire complaint of the entire movie. It all feels a little like a retread. Like it's like a copy and paste, and it's like the second generation is never as good as the first generation. It's that like little faded. It's a little faded, but it still works. But yeah. All right, Matty, what do you think? Are you with us? Or are you against us?
This hurts my very soul, my very being to have to do. Like this one struck so damn hard. I have such a deep love for Harry Gregson Williams. For everyone who doesn't know, Harry Gregson Williams was handpicked by Hideo Kojima to do the music for the video game for the Metal Gear Solid series, which is my all-time favorite, not just video game series, but franchise. I like those. The songs and the score are such an integral part of those video games that it's like this hurts. This really hurts for me to do, because there ain't many people that I would put up against Hans Zimmer in any category, but let alone this, because I have on vinyl the Gladiator soundtrack, and like JARVI just added to it. Like this the music from the original Gladiator just hits you on a different level. It moves you in a different kind of way. There's something about this soundtrack. And I was reading an interview, I can't remember with who. It was with another composer, but they said they use the Gladiator score as prep music. That if you watch the John Williams doc, you know that that's the music that people send you to be like, this is what we're thinking. Can you do something in the vein of this? And they're essentially sending this. This is why the Pirates of the Caribbean theme sounds so much like Gladiators, because they send you the Gladiator soundtrack. They send you the Gladiator score and say, this is what we're thinking. So they're basically saying, hey, can you do one of the greatest scores of all time by one of the greatest composers of all time? It's never going to get close. There's I can't even count on one hand the amount of people that I would put up against Hans Zimmer when it comes to music. Maybe John Williams and now Ludwig are probably the only two that I would say. Maybe that might be, and Michael Giacchino. That might be the three that I
Right.
say you maybe you've
Right.
got a shot. But this to me, this is an easy win for Gladiator. This is like not even a question.
It's kind of sad that I was hoping, because I wasn't expecting Harry Gregson Williams to overdo what Hans Zimmer did in the first one, but I was expecting a bit more, because if you think of Kingdom of Heaven, I don't know if you remember the score from Kingdom of Heaven, that's by Harry Gregson Williams. That is a really good score. It's original. It's like, it stands out, but in this one, it doesn't have the it factor. So Harry Gregson Williams has it in him, but for this one, he kind of didn't deliver, which is a shame.
I will be buried to the Metal Gear Solid theme. That is the song that will be playing as my body descends into this earth.
All right.
There ain't go. Hans Zimmer is the baby goat. Like, you can't. There's no one else that could go up against him other than the goat himself.
Fair enough, my friends. Fair enough. Okay. Best action or fist pump moments. I honestly am still a little torn on this one, so I'm gonna let Matty go first on this one.
Oh, shit.
That's a good one.
This is the best part of it. It's good to be the king, good to be like the host, because I can get. I don't know. I'll just
okay. Let me just preface this by saying the visuals of Gladiator 2's action scenes, like the ocean fight in the Colosseum, infinitely better. But I never had that feeling of, could this go wrong? I never had that feeling of anxiety that Gladiator, like when he's fighting the what's his name, the Tigris of Raul, or whatever that dude's name was, the Tigers.
Right.
I never got that feeling of dread of, like, not only is Maximus fighting a former gladiator, a former champion of the Colosseum, but he's also got to dodge being eaten alive by tigers. And I don't
real tigers.
Like, they had a real tiger jump on the stuntman's back, like, and almost got mauled by an actual tiger shooting that movie. I get that this story is like a repeating cycle, and you had Lucius kind of take up the mantle of the general, the leader, but I didn't really have that fear. I didn't have that fear for his life. Maybe in like the ocean battle, if they'd had a moment where he was like hanging off of the boat, like if he got knocked off the boat and there was like a shark nipping at his heel or something, I would have felt that. But it's like I kind of expected him to make it through to the end. I didn't know that he was going to get past Acacius as easy as he did, but I figured that he was going to get there, that there would be, like, I think the trailer having a lot to do with it, seeing him and Acacius face to face. Like, he even does the moment where, like, he does like the power lifter, like with the chalk, just like lifting off the ground and wiping it with his hands. And I was like, beat for beat, like, okay, I don't have fear for Lucius. I know he's gonna make it through to Acacius. But with Gladiator and with Maximus, I didn't know. Even like when I rewatched it, because I hadn't watched it in a while before I watched it for Gladiator 2. But yeah, I think the visuals of the action in Gladiator 2 is better, but the actual beat for beat action moments, I think, are a lot better from the rip. I mean, you have the moment where he says, from the very opening battle, where he says, "On my command, unleash hell." Bro, goosebumps to this day from that opening battle.
All right, so look, I'll go and just say, I am building right off of what you're saying. I think visually speaking, Gladiator 2 is a tour de force. The effects have gotten really good overall. They do a lot of cool shots. There's a lot of cool shots in there, absolutely. The water battle's great. The first battle in the whole movie, I honestly think the first battle even looks a little better than the first Gladiator battle, if I find to be fair. But maybe it's because of setting visually versus because like maybe it's the planes, like the water and the castle or whatever, the keep or whatever it is. I like that better than just fighting on the planes or whatever. So visually, I like that better. The Gladiator fights are both very good overall. At the end of the day, this is action and fist pump moments, and it all comes down to fist pump. And there's no fist pump better than I Am Maximus. I mean, there's no better than that speech. That speech. Another movie that we're talking about here. That speech is probably one of the biggest fist bumps in the history of mankind. Like, I want to run through a wall for that guy.
Of all time, in my opinion, that's the one.
I don't know if I go that far, but it is definitely up there. I could definitely arguably that way. I don't want to declare that because I'm thinking it might be a few that are more for me, but that is up there for sure. And it makes me want to run through a wall. It makes me want to go into the Gladiator pit and maul a tiger myself. So I can't any good conscience give this to Gladiator 2 any way, shape, or form, because once again, the recurring theme here is that the best parts of Gladiator 2 feel like they were already done better by Gladiator 1. And the action sequences are good, but it's not like the Gladiator 1 action sequences are shitty. So they're pretty good. So give me that speech in those moments versus the rest of Gladiator 2. It's got to be Gladiator 1 for me.
Yeah, they really did try to up the game for Gladiator 2. More intensity, more speed, more blood and limbs and guts, because it was really bloody. I love the CGI battles as well, which actually interesting thing. The first battle when they're taking the African city, all of the water is CGI. They shot it in the desert. So it's actually kind of cool that you like the visuals there, because they pretty much had nothing to work with there. When we're comparing the two battles, the first battle of Gladiator 1 and Gladiator 2, in my opinion, the first battle is, again, one of the greatest battle scenes ever. Not because there was so much threat, because the Roman army pretty much just fucking slices through. There's no shot for Germania. But you see the might of Rome. Like, everyone has a job, and they do it to perfection. I mean, that is just, the way Maximus commands the troops, everything, the respect is there. Matty, you said that you didn't have any, fear for Lucius when he was in the battle scenes or in the Colosseum. My favorite part of Gladiator 2 in the Colosseum was with Acacius, and it's the Vae Victis scene. Is when he's in the Colosseum, he has to go in. You're afraid because Pedro Pascal, he fucking dies in things when he's awesome at, and he looks at the Praetorians. They're his guys. He knows he has to fight them. He just goes Vae Victis, fucking slices through like 4 guys in seconds, and then just keeps going. Eventually dies. But that moment, that was like, I was going, fuck yes. That was almost as good as Gladiator 1, but nothing compares to Gladiator 1. I mean, the first battle, perfect. Barbarian horde. I mean, the music, everything that happens, how Maximus sort of gets up on the horse, he fucking does the sword flip. He just takes everyone down. I mean, perfection. Diamond as one. I mean, fuck. It's so good. When it comes to the final battle, I'd say Commodus versus Maximus and Lucius versus Macrinus. Kind of in the same vein, but I do think Commodus dies in a more satisfying way, and it's that gurgle, that blood that he's choking on. I mean, I know that is straight from Class Action, but it's such a satisfying. You kind of, when you hate the villain, you want him to die gurgling.
That's true.
I do think Macrinus losing his hand with all those rings on was pretty damn.
That was a cool one. That was a cool one, though.
Those rings were doing my head in.
Just like surprised that happened. That was a cool look that he had. Yeah.
I love the fact that was his like he had been spent the whole time being a shit weasel kind of character, a manipulator. But like when he had to, he's like, okay, I gotta take my sword. I'll fight this way too. And of course he's not as good, but it still seemed like it was a nice kind
but
of.
He was pretty good.
Moment. But he was
actually a little too good, because I was like, kind of okay. He's really almost getting the best of Lucius.
Well, Lucius is tired. He's been dealing with a lot of stuff the entire time. It's like basically like Kylo Ren being shot with a crossbow. He's battle worn at this point, And Denzel has history. He's just, he's a little older. He's a little rusty in a lot of game. So I was okay with that. So, and plus, it's Denzel Washington, so fuck it. That's why I'm good with it. But yeah, all right, guys. Guess what? We have a winner. It's no surprise. My snap judgment was pretty accurate. This is you mentioned before we started how we haven't had too many whoopings. Well, this is a whooping. By final score of 13-2, your winner, Gladiator 2000.
Bring on the titty bar.
Bring on the titty bar.
We got to do a new segment called the Titty Bar now.
Titty bar.
It was 3-0 for every category except for villains, and that we gave villains 2-1. Gladiator 2 actually won the villain category 2-1, but beyond that, 13-2.
I couldn't give anything to Gladiator, and I was like, I didn't want to give it to Gladiator 2 just because to give it.
Right.
So I was completely honest with this one.
Absolutely, and as you should be, and that's what we are. We do have that moment. There is some time when we go through this. I'll be honest. We go through class action like this. We have these things. Sometimes we like to because we like a closer battle. So sometimes we do go. You know what? Is there something I can give it to it? But at the same day, at the end of the time, I always say at the end, it's not fair if I do it that way. I gotta go with my honest opinion. And if it gets slaughtered, it gets slaughtered. That doesn't mean, by the way, it's kind of like the Rotten Tomatoes argument. The Rotten Tomato argument, as far as like a good versus a good, something gets a 97%. It's because 97% of the people thought it was better than a 3. Doesn't mean that like Gladiator 2 is awful because it got killed 13-2. Gladiator 2 is a good film. It's a fun film. It's a very adventurous, fun film. It just happens to go up against something that's iconic. Ultimately better and iconic. Absolutely. So
I tried to Alien Resurrection it with the music just because I'm such a Harry Gregson Williams fan, but I was just like, I can't do it. It's too much of an uphill battle. And we talk about the fist pumps of Gladiator 2. Yeah, there are some, like when he picks up Maximus's sword, when he gets into the cave, like there's some cool ones. But again, it just all goes back to the categories. Like the categories decide this. And yes, we pick the categories, so we are kind of like deciding the fate of these movies. But
we are the Commodus.
We are the Commodus. It was literally Gladiator 2.
Absolutely.
Gladiator 2 fought with strength and honor. It did what it set out to do. I don't know if I want to see a third.
We're going
but
to.
You're gonna.
I know.
It's coming.
I'm more happy that we're getting Top Gun 3 than we are Gladiator 3.
Yeah. I am too, because Top Gun 3, we could see the return of Rear Admiral Chester, the Hammer.
Oh.
And so,
I mean, Gladiator 3 could have Ed Harris in it as well. Actually, I did hear that Gladiator 3 is supposed to be a prequel and a sequel. So I'm hoping, I mean, it's a slippery slope, but they might do young Maximus in some capacity. That could work. I know it's Han Solo all over again, but
well, say Solo worked for me. I actually like Solo.
Yep.
I like Solo. I'll give you that. But I don't really want to see young Maximus. I thought Maximus. This is like what I'll always go into it with an open mind and everything else. But I kind of feel like Ridley, we're good. Leave it alone. We're good.
Yeah. Or hand it off to someone else.
Oh, one thing that Matty said was like the thumb thing. Like doing the thumbs up or thumbs down is kind of an art form in itself. Like, do you remember Commodus did like sort of went up and then down? Like that was like a very and Joseph Quinn. He was going just like it was just like such an aggressive thumbs down. I mean, it's so subtle, but there's still an art to it.
There is an art, absolutely. So, all right, guys, that is going to wrap us up for this special episode of Class Action. It's good to be back, baby. We will try to come together. We haven't had any official decision on any other ones we're going to do. We have a lot of things going on, though, but we'll try to get one done in January. I don't know what you want, what you're thinking there. Do you guys have any ideas of what you want to do? Want to throw anything out there live and see what the people say?
January is kind of a graveyard for new movies, so we could do something just,
do we do the one that I suggested, that we pit the two best friends against each other?
Which one was it? I can't remember.
Ian McKellen versus Patrick Stewart.
Oh, yeah. That could work.
That could work. We'll have to
Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim is in cinemas right now, so there's some connective tissue.
Yeah, I just saw that last night myself. Good. It was good. It was a good film. All right, we'll do that. I want to lead up to something. I'm going to pitch something on air. Maybe it'll be one of the most epic ones we've ever done. I don't even know if we could pull it off. It'd be a long episode. I'm not going to lie. But let's do Superman 1978 versus Superman Returns versus Man of Steel versus Superman Legacy. All the first films in the Superman sagas.
Oh, that's a 4-off?
Four-way battle. Just a thought. I know, just a thought. when we get to May, we'll talk about it more. If the people want it, I think we can do it.
Yeah, I'm game.
All right. Matty?
Yeah. We've never done it before, so let's do it.
All right. Sounds good, my friend. It's true. Sonic 3 did come out this December. We could do something in January also about Sonic, potentially. But we'll find out. All right. That'll do it for us this week, folks. Thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate you guys coming back for us. Hopefully, you guys like me. Hopefully, it's worth it for you guys to see us come back. We'll be back more. I'll put this on the audio side of things. Class Action Live. We're back, baby. And we're back for good, I guess. So, yeah. Next time, patreon.com/PLD Projects. Austin Goodell, Brandon Buckingham, great crew members like that. Like, subscribe, 5-star reviews, all that good stuff. Membership, join the membership on the team. We got all sorts of like early videos, etc. Maybe we'll do some exclusive class action stuff. Maybe, who knows?
If we get 100 memberships by the next one, POD will do it in a Superman costume.
There you go. Perfect. I love it. Jarvi, justice is served.